You sit on a soft cushioned couch, staring at a glowing screen, feeling a heavy wave of quiet guilt. Your digital to-do list is growing longer by the hour, your gym clothes sit untouched in the corner of the room, and a relentless voice in your head calls you lazy. You believe this modern voice completely? You think your lack of motivation is a personal failure, a defect in your modern character, or a lack of discipline. But your body does not care about your modern guilt. Your body is not listening to your societal expectations. Your body is just trying to save your life. For 99% of human history, doing absolutely nothing was not a sin. It was not a character flaw. It was a brilliant life-saving biological strategy. Think about the structure of your typical day. You feel a constant vibrating pressure to move, to produce, to organize, and to optimize every single minute of your existence. If you sit still for an hour, you feel like you are wasting your precious time. But if you took a time machine back 100,000 years to the sun-drenched African savanna, you would find your ancestors doing something absolutely shocking. They were sitting down, they were lying flat in the shade of a large baobab tree. They were staring blankly into space for hours at a time without moving a muscle. To a modern corporate manager, these humans looked incredibly lazy. To an evolutionary biologist, they looked like absolute geniuses. In the year 1966, an anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins stepped forward and challenged everything we thought we knew about our deep past. He introduced a radical concept called the original Affluent Society. Before Sahlins published his data, almost every historian and scientist assumed that prehistoric life was a brutal, non-stop, agonizing struggle for survival. We collectively imagine that early humans were 20 hours a day, running through the bushes, bleeding and sweating just to find a single tiny berry or a scrap of meat. But Sahlins looked closely at the empirical data from surviving hunter-gatherer groups around the world. He discovered a beautiful reality. These people only worked about 3 to 5 hours a day to meet all their survival needs. The rest of their time was spent resting, gossiping, playing, and sleeping. Your ancestors did not have a local supermarket with infinite shelves. They had to hunt wild, dangerous animals and gather scattered plants. Every single calorie they put into their bodies required hard physical energy. Expenditure: if you spend 500 calories running away from a predator or chasing a small deer, you must find at least 501 calories in the wild just to stay even. In the harsh, unpredictable world of the Pleistocene epoch, calories were incredibly rare and difficult to secure. If you wasted your limited energy running a lap around the camp just for fun or lifting heavy rocks to stay fit, you were literally burning away your chances of survival. True laziness was not a luxury. It was an essential insurance policy against starvation. To truly understand how this works inside your cells, we must examine the ground-rending work of evolutionary biologist Dr. Herman Pontzer. He traveled deep into Tiantai to live with and study the Hadza people, one of the very last remaining true hunter-gatherer tribes on Earth. The Hadza do not use machines, they do not have electricity, and they do not rely on modern agricultural tools. They walk long miles every single day through rough terrain to hunt wild game and dig up deeply buried tubers. Pontzer meticulously measured their daily energy expenditure using an advanced scientific method called doubly labeled water. He fully expected to find that these highly active tribal people burned significantly more calories than a sedentary office worker sitting in a cubicle in New York or London. The results of that study completely shocked the global scientific community. The active, lean hunter-gatherers of the African savanna burned roughly the exact same number of total calories per day as a modern human sitting comfortably in an ergonomic office chair, staring at a pale lake. How is this biologically possible? To explain this paradox, Dr. Pontzer formulated the constrained total energy expenditure model. He discovered that the human body does not just burn more calories the more you move. Instead, the body operates on a strict, unyielding internal energy budget. When you become highly active, your body simply cuts energy away from other internal biological systems, like lowering your immune system inflammation, reducing stress responses, and dialing back reproductive hormones, just to keep your total daily calorie burn completely stable. Your body is not an open machine where you can just press a button, run faster, and burn infinite fuel. It is a highly sensitive, deeply conservative accountant. It counts every single metabolic cent. Daniel Lieberman, a renowned Harvard professor of human evolutionary biology, notes that humans evolved to be physically active for one distinct reason only: when it was absolutely necessary for immediate survival or reproduction. No wild animal in nature exercises for the sake of fitness. A lion does not go for a morning jog across the plains to tone its leg muscles. A chimpanzee does not lift heavy tree branches to build a bigger chest. They rest completely until they must absolutely move to kill or avoid being killed. You are the direct, unbroken descendant of the ultimate energy savers. The ancient humans who were hyperactive, who ran around the savannah when they did not need to, died out during the very first major ecological drought or famine. They ran out of gas before they could reproduce. The humans who knew exactly how to sit still, who could lie under a dense tree and conserve every single drop of metabolic energy, survived the hard times. They passed their brilliant energy-saving genes all the way down the family tree to you. When you feel a deep, heavy physical resistance to getting off your couch to go to the gym, that is not a modern character flaw. That is your ancient DNA screaming at you to save your resources. This biological programming creates a massive, dangerous mismatch in our modern environment. Today we live in an artificial world filled with infinite cheap calories. You can acquire 1,000 calories of dense fat and sugar by simply pressing 3 small buttons on your touch screen. Yet our brains are still fundamentally programmed for an ancient environment where every single calorie could be your last before a long winter. Your ancient brain looks at a steep flight of stairs in an office building and sees a dangerous, wasteful expenditure of valuable biological fuel. It looks at a moving escalator and sees a beautiful, life-saving mechanical miracle. So let us reconstruct a normal day in the life of your ancestor 30,000 years ago to see how this looked in practice. You wake up slowly with the rising sun wrapped closely around your tried members for shared physical warmth. You do not check a smartphone or look at a ticking clock. You look around the camp, and if there is leftover mammoth meat from yesterday's hunt, you do not go out to hunt today. You sit down by the cold ashes. You sharpen a stone tool very slowly over the course of 3 hours. You talk to your cousin about a funny dream. You watch the clouds drift across the wide blue sky. You spend 80% of your waking hours in a state of deep, low relaxation. You only run when a roaring leopard appears from the tall grass or when a trackable herd of deer is spotted by a scout. This slow, relaxed lifestyle kept the ancient human body remarkably healthy and resilient. Because ancient humans rested so deeply and so frequently between brief moments of intense physical necessity, their internal stress hormones like ketone stayed remarkably low. They did not experience chronic high blood pressure, systemic heart disease, or the constant low-grade inflammation that plagues modern societies from overworking. Their natural laziness was a protective, psychological, and physical shield. Today, we have flipped this beautiful evolutionary design completely on its head. We work 8, 10, 12 hours a day sitting in high-stress mental environments while simultaneously forcing our exhausted bodies to perform artificial exercise at night just to stay healthy. We have created a bizarre world where resting makes us feel sick with internal anxiety. We feel intensely guilty for taking a long, quiet nap on a Sunday afternoon. We look at our soft bodies in the mirror and wonder why we crave high-fat, high-sugar foods the exact moment we feel tired or stressed. It is because your ancient brain thinks a catastrophic famine is coming every single time you experience modern work stress. It desperately wants you to sit on that soft couch, eat that sugary snack, and stay completely still until the perceived environmental danger passes. The next time you find yourself melting deeply into your couch, completely unable to muster the mental strength to do household chores or drive to the fitness center, stop fighting your own nature. Take a deep, slow breath and completely forgive your biology. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. Your brain is not lazy in a negative way. It is just running a highly successful 300,000-year-old survival program with a perfect track record. Your body is doing exactly what it was brilliantly designed to do to keep you alive on the ancient African savanna. You sit on a soft couch staring at a screen, feeling a heavy wave of guilt, completely unaware that your deep laziness is actually your greatest ancestral superpower.